Stephanie Jarvis, and I'm your mushroom mentor. I'm a local mycologist here in the Northern California coast, and I'm here to show you how mushrooms are going to change your life. So if you like my channel, please like, subscribe, ding the bell to get the whistles, and enjoy the show. Welcome back. I'm Stephanie Jarvis, your local mycologist and your mushroom mentor. And today we're going to talk about the pressure cooker. Yes. All right, here we go. So I have a pressure cooker here, and somehow the metal tray that goes in the bottom has gone missing. So if you get tired in the afternoon after an all-day mycology affair, have some chai, some black tea in the afternoon. Don't call it a day, and be innovative. So I need a tray because I'm going to make some brown rice flour cakes for you guys to watch how this is made. And I needed a tray because I have to figure out how many jars. So I think I'm going to find out how many jars go in here. I think it's 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yes, 9, not quite 10, 9 in the bottom, and then I can put some fatties. No, I can't put fatties on top, but I do have a taller pressure cooker, so I could actually put in 9, 10. I could actually put in, and then that like that. See, if you practice how arranging them in the pressure cooker so you can get as many as you can. So I'll probably do this, but I'll get the tall boy because obviously this won't fit. But let me show you. I just invented, I needed a tray for the bottom. And this is one thing you'll learn about mycology, is that we have to be innovative and recreate stuff for ourselves all the time because no other industry makes stuff the way we need in mycology. So I found some garden chicken wire out in the garden, unused, so it wasn't all corroded. It's like fresh. Did I wash it before putting in here? No, I probably should do that. I'm going to do that. But I just folded it up once and then again, so it's actually 4 layers. And I just kind of folded in the edges. Didn't fold in these edges, I just kind of curled them in. And it's going to lift the jars up off the floor so that there can be a base of water without them just sitting and boiling in water. And so you can see it gives it a little bit of a lift in here. And the jars will just go in right on top of that. So when you need a tray for your pressure cooker, there you go. Be ingenious. Okay, so we are almost done, but not quite. We now need to put on the lids. The lid has an arrow, and it goes to the arrow. That's if you're using these All-American pressure cookers. That's already popping up because of this guy. I'm going to rotate it. Okay. When the handles are in alignment, it is locked and ready to go. Don't forget your rocker. Have your pressure gauge facing out. Oops, wrong burner. turn your stove on all the way, full blast, and wait until it gets up to 15 psi, and your rocker will start to spew out some steam. Don't be alarmed. This is like the cork of a turkey. You know, the popper that comes out when the turkey's ready? This will pop out when your steam is up to pressure and temperature inside. So first it's going to boil the water. The water is going to turn to steam, and that steam is going to start filling the space in the pressure cooker, building pressure. PSI, pressure per square inch. So when that pressure starts to build and you get to 15 PSI, this little guy is going to pop up. This guy's already going to have been screaming steaminess out at you, but this guy's going to pop, and it's going to seal the airflow in and out. Right now, air can actually exchange inward, okay? And air can actually exchange inward right here as well. But when this gets up to 15 PSI, or when it's at pressure, there's so much steam that's it's filling every single void, and it's going to be pushing out here and pushing out here. And once this pops, this air vent is going to be shut, in the shut position when it's up. And this guy is going to start rocking, as steam is going to be coming out, and it's going to be causing this guy to rock back and forth. As soon as you hear this guy rocking back and forth, and you're at 15 PSI, you can actually turn down the stove a little. You don't have to have it at full blast, natural gas or propane, however you run your stove. Or you can just buy the expensive electric ones that just plug into the wall, which would be nice to have, but I don't have that. So once you hear this rocker, you hit your timer for 45 minutes, particularly for grain and this amount of grain that we're doing. If we were doing other things like sterilizing water, we could just do it for 30 minutes. If we were doing it for agar, we might do it for an hour and 25 minutes. All depending on what the substrate is, what we're cooking and what we're going to use it for, and how well cooked we want. If you leave your grain in for longer than 45 minutes and you let it be at 15 PSI for an hour and a half, your grain is going to get overcooked, mushy, susceptible to bacterial infections, and it might be too wet and goopy, and your mycelium may not thrive in it. What you want, let me just get some grain here for you. What you want are sticky granules that will just stick like glue, and they will pop in your hands, a nice little pop. They're hydrated, they're full of water, but they're not overly gooped, okay? And you want it just to come up to temp for 45 minutes. Turn it off, let it cool overnight. Tomorrow, inoculate. You can wait a few days. I don't recommend it. The longer you wait to inoculate your substrate, the more susceptible they are to any endospores being in there, outcompeting anything you put in there, or any bacteria in there outcompeting. There's still going to be endospores and bacteria in there. Just because we inoculate, just because we autoclave and did all this to be clean, doesn't mean it can't be contaminated. We're not removing the bacteria or the mold endospores. We're just trying to germinate them with the pre-boiling, and then autoclaving them, pressure cooking them to hope to kill them and knock their population down enough so that when we inoculate this with the fungus that we want to grow, like a shiitake or an oyster mushroom or pioppino or whatever, maitake, lion's mane, whenever you're growing on the grain, you want that to be able to outcompete any possibilities of other guys growing in there. So that's all I have to say about, even though this is probably a 2-hour YouTube video. It's a lot to say about just making grain. Grain is an all-day process. I started last night to do the initial soak. So we can put on the screen here. We soak the grain for a good 8 to 12 hours. Second step is we rinsed it a bunch of times. The third step is we cleaned and organized our jars and lids and filters. The fourth step is we clean and organized the pressure cookers and the kitchen. I guess that's 5 now, because cleaning the kitchen should actually be the first one. And then we cooked the grain, drained the grain, filled the jars, did the lids and the aluminum foil, and then we put the jars in the pressure cooker. We're going to cook it 45 minutes, 15 psi, and then let it cool overnight. And then tomorrow is inoculation day. Don't miss inoculation day, because you want clean, healthy grain spawn to grow your family mushrooms. All right, so our pressure cooker, as you can see, is popped. Has popped. Be very, very careful. This in and of itself is very, very hot. So if you have children, toddlers around the house, remind them stove is off limits, because this becomes just iron hot. This is hot. Steam, it will burn you and melt your skin. So you can see that it is just above 0 psi, and when it starts getting up to 15, this guy will start to make noise. So don't be alarmed. That is totally normal. And the other one is yet to come, and we're going to see if we can catch the pop for you on film. We're almost there. This guy's going to pop. Watch. It starts to spew steam. More and more, and some liquid might come out. If it's got a lot of moisture coming out, you can use a towel to soak that up, but be careful. This is really, really, really hot, like lava hot. Will burn your skin off. This is very dangerous, but also yet good for the complexion. There it popped. There it goes. It finally popped. So now it's going to take about 20 minutes to get up to 15 psi. As you can see, this other one is almost there. It's almost to 15 psi. When it gets to 15, this guy will start rocking. This guy will rocking, and don't touch. Very, very lava hot. Once this starts rocking, set your alarm for 45 minutes. 45 minutes for this grain. Alexa, set an alarm for 45 minutes. Just tell Alexa. She'll get it taken care of for you. Now, this rocker might start going really wild. And if that happens, just turn the stove down. Really easy. You want it to have a nice, even-paced rock, and you don't want the pressure to go wild. With the amount of gas coming out of the stove, it's never going to push this over its extremity. That's just, I don't have that powerful enough of a cooking stove. They don't get that powerful enough. So you just want a nice, gentle rocking. It'll get up a little more than that. And then if it starts to get too much more than that, we just turn the stove down a little. And it's above 15 psi right now, just slightly. So I can even turn the stove down and just keep it right at 15 psi. Okay, so we have our pressure cookers going at full speed ahead. This one's going a little bit soft, and this one here is going a little soft. This one here is going a little fast. This is more of a preferred rocking. They're about the same. I'm just going to turn this volume, turning this up a little bit, give it a little more gas so it goes a little bit faster. But notice how this pressure gauge is not working. Somehow it got bent and damaged on the inside. and it needs repairing, but I just need to replace it, and I haven't bought one to replace it with, but it's totally functional. I can go by the amount of rocking because this size stove is not enough to get that to get so hot that it's going to melt or be dangerous. So that amount of rocking is safe and a good sound, and the fact that this doesn't work is dangerous. I don't recommend it. Needs to be fixed. This one is fully functional, just over 15 psi. Rocking good. They're about the same in terms of rockability right now. We're just rocking out. And this one's going a little slower. I just kicked up a notch with the gas. And I've got 2 timers going. And we're just pressure cooking away here at the Napa Valley Fungi Farm. Alright, so pressure cookers, 45 minutes. The first alarm just went off, so I shut the gas off to the first one, and the second one is still rocking away. You can hear that sound. It's kind of like an upbeat tempo. That's a good sign. So these are going to slowly start coming down from pressure, and I'm going to leave it on the stove overnight and let it cool. I'm not going to open it. I'm not going to mess with any of the valves. I'm going to leave the rocker on it. You do not want to take the rocker off. Don't mess with this while it's cooling. Don't push the popper down for fun. Don't remove the rocker. Just leave it there until it's cool enough to pick up without your gloves, and just let it cool. And tomorrow I will move them from out here into the lab. First I'll turn on the laminar flow hood for a good 30 minutes, wipe all the areas down with isopropyl alcohol. Then I'll take these into the lab. I will spray them down with alcohol on the outside before opening, and then take the bags out and inoculate them. But first, just let this, just shut it off, and literally don't do anything. Just shut it off. Don't mess with it. Don't start pulling it apart. Don't open it to look in it until you're ready to actually do the inoculation. You're in the room to do the inoculation. Otherwise, just leave it alone. Keep it simple. All right, YouTube world, thank you so much for liking and subscribing and reaching out to me as your mushroom mentor. I am an active working mycologist. My name is Stephanie Jarvis. You can find my thesis at napavalleyfungi.com. If you ever find puffballs out in the field, you can always reach out to me and I can help you figure out how to eat them or what they are. All right, YouTube world, go be a fungi and enjoy the day.